has any questions or comments or anything like that, you're more than welcome to ask. Okay? So, hey everybody, today is what? September 20th, 2018, and I took the rest of the corn out of the garden. Some of it's good. I got an entire bag of it. I'm gonna try my best to shuck some of this stuff, but I need to get a bucket real quick because I gotta put the stuff in a bucket. So I'm gonna put a couple buckets below me as we shuck some corn. I'm gonna kind of use a knife. I'm gonna kind of cheat it a little bit because I'm sure a lot of this stuff is not done yet because of, yeah, see, it's too small. This was my 4th attempt at it. The other corn came out really good. I got a couple hundred ears out of it, but as you can see, some of this is going to be small. I do have several larger things though, but we're going to get rid of all the nasty stuff first, and so I need to cut out all the nasty stuff, and we'll go like that. So now today what I want to talk about while we're doing corn, you guys ever remember the Cajun, the guys used to say, "Ooh, it's so good," Frugal Gourmet or whatever his name was. I forgot exactly what his name was. He used to be like my overall like favorite guy. It wasn't the Frugal Gourmet. It was the guy that used to always say, "It's so good." He was down in Louisiana type. Anyway, today I wanted to go over what we're doing. This is chaos theory. And what a lot of people, they put in religion, respect, and everything else, but a lot of people forget that chaos has to happen. They forget that there's always going to be the variable of things that go wrong that are supposed to. And a lot of people don't understand. They actually take it as a negative instead of a positive. So as they, you know, they get their lives together and everything else, they actually look at the negatives or unsuccessful practices as a negative. Problem is, it's not. Did you know everything you do in your life? Everything you do in your life has a reason. Okay? And you have to be successful. And I try to get this point across to everybody. Why do I always talk about success and how to be successful? Well, you gotta understand, there's people that are rich as heck and they're miserable. Then there's people that are poor as heck and they're happy. Now, why is that? You know, everybody thinks that because money doesn't create happiness. Believe it or not, and this is what we learn all the time, not just in my business, but every kind of business. If a person that is bad and they get money, they're going to do bad things. Okay? They're not going to do good things. They're going to do bad things. They're just going to have money to do bad things with. Okay? A lot of people, if they have bad spending habits, they're not good with money, and they come into money, then all of a sudden they're going to have bad spending habits still because they never learned how to manage money or use their time. Okay, a good example would be if you go onto YouTube or you go to a couple different things. I can kill bugs. You'll find out that people that win the lottery, almost 90, if not a little bit more, kill that bugger. They don't keep their money. Okay, in fact, they don't know about taxes. They don't know about laws and rules, and, you know, they get the money and they're like, "Oh yeah, I want all this money," and next thing you know, they're going to blow it, and then they don't have any more. And it's really actually sorry, because like I said, if you don't have time and money management, then you're not going to have success. And one of the things with my corn right now is I try to put it up 4 times. I am not a farmer. My family, yes. Me, no. But I make the attempt, and every year it gets better and better. What's funny is a lot of people, they look at my garden, they've been hearing me say that I had to plant 4 times. And what they see is, and what they hear is what I tell them. Now, why am I using my garden as an example? Because even with the corn being like this small, okay, now I got several large, and I had a big corn the other day. I've actually, through success, and for the last few years, and I wanted to get this out there, have actually given and grown more corn this year than any other year combined. So even though it looks like it wasn't excess and the corn might be a little smaller, there is, I'm not going to do that one, there's actually more of it, even though the weather wasn't good or bad. And it's just funny because when you tell people that kind of stuff, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh yeah, it's bad. It's actually the best it's been. It just wasn't my expectations of what I wanted. But that doesn't mean nothing came up. That doesn't mean that I don't get good corn out of it. It just means some of it's a little bit smaller, some of it's bigger. A couple years back, I had some of the world's largest corn. I almost hit a world record, literally. That's not a joke. But I was a foot off from the world's tallest corn stalk. You know, think about it. Quincy, Illinois. Some freaking nobody in Quincy grows a corn stalk bigger than anything else. Now, why do I do my garden? I do my garden every year because when my daughter was born, I thought of something that I used to do with my mother. And there was a guy by the name of Pruny Dietert and his beautiful wife, and they used to always have sweet corn, and my family always grew sweet corn down at different farmers and stuff. And my grandma did too. And we'd always go, and we would actually get the sweet corn, and it was something that my family did together. And I watch online, I still have family members that do this with their family. They get the corn, they cut it, they freeze it, they get it ready for winter. And when you have this corn, people hate because I don't get all the stuff off. You know, we used to do it together and it was fun. So then I grow tomatoes and just different things. And in fact, I actually used to grow rare stuff that no one ever thought would grow, like Yugoslavian squash. And it actually grew really well. And it just every year, I have a bigger garden now. I just don't plant as many different varieties of things because what I like to do is hydroponics. Or sorry. I like to do, yeah, hydroponics. I grow stuff inside. Okay, now this corn don't look very good. That one doesn't. That one looks a little wrinkly. But I can't do that all the time with my daughter anymore. She's getting older now. We don't have, you know, it takes room and stuff to do that. But that doesn't mean that I cannot grow the stuff I'm used to, or go over to one of the nurseries or one of my buddies and, you know, get stuff that, you know, they've already been growing and then plant it in the ground. Now, I still haven't done that with my tomatoes. I still use seed and everything for a lot of stuff I do, my Carolina Reapers and stuff like that. Hey, and some of the corn's not very good because this stuff I picked on Tuesday with Grace and it's Thursday. I just have not got a chance to get out here to get it shucked yet. And there we go. As you can see, some of it looks really good. Just have to take off a little bit of it all. And then what I'll probably end up doing is giving it all to my neighbors and my friends. I like to give away all my stuff to my neighbors and friends. Now, let's get back to what I was talking about. Chaos theory. Yeah. Chaos theory. Chaos speculation, whatever you want to call it. Through every action has to be a reaction, right? If you're going to go out there and be successful and you fail, eventually, if you keep it up and you keep changing your habits or changing what you're doing, eventually you're going to succeed because you learn that you have to change whatever course you're on. But if you keep going out and doing the same thing over and over again expecting change, then change is never going to come. You actually have to do change. You have to, you know, that's the reason why if you ever look at it, when you have 2 kids or more, now I'm just a parent of a single kid, but if you have kids, you know, the second kid is always going to be a little bit healthier. They're going to get the cheaper of the stuff because they're second, you know, and you learn that you don't need all the expensive stuff. But if you ever notice, they're also not, they don't have as many allergies, okay? You know, they're a little bit dirtier because kids like to play, and we're not as strict with them as we are with the first child, okay? I wish I could say that with me and my sister. However, my sister's actually way smarter than me, but she does have allergies. I do not. And she is allergic to animals. I am not. Why? Because as we learn, and as parents we're always learning also. In business, okay? And what I do a lot of my stuff for, and in your resume. That's the reason why I'm always telling people all the time, keep updating your resume. Keep putting new things on there. Keep trying. Neighbors are doing a remodel project. Keep trying to constantly, you know, make your life better. How do you make your life better? Be nicer to people. You know, go out there, rewrite, try to take college classes. Go to a community college if you have to. Go get like a vocational college or something, okay? Always look to do better in life, okay? Be loyal to what you do, but if you're not making what you want to make, or you're not where you want to be, then look at your situation and find out how you change it. Okay? Some of you will have to go out and replant your garden over again. And I'm not just talking about gardens right now. This is just giving an analogy. Some of you will have to plant your garden 4 or 5 times like I did this year. 4 times. Some of you may only have to plant once. You think you're happy, but then you're not. Good evening, Nancy. But what I'm trying to say is when you go out there, you can't just expect the world to come to you. You need to go to the world. You need to go out, explore, adventure. And if you want a better job in life, you want to do better in life, okay, then you need to start doing extra. Don't just count on 1 or 2 things. You know, if you want to get more money, then you got to go earn it. You know, you got to go make another sale. Go get another job. However, if you want more time freedom with you and your kids and stuff, then you actually have to learn time freedom. You have to learn to make money work for you. Otherwise, you're never going to have that time with your kids. Man, that one corn looks weird. I ain't gonna lie, that corn right there looks weird. So while you're going out there and you're reading these books, when I tell people to read 11 good pages, that don't mean go out and read an Agatha Christie book, okay? It doesn't mean, because books are just like TV if not done correctly. Okay? And what do I mean by that? That's too small. Books, you can go read a fantasy novel all you want to. Okay? That's great. But what is that going to do for you and your psyche? What is that going to do to help you prepare for the future? You know, if you go out and read a book by Grant Cardone, Brian Carruthers, Jim Rohn, Zig Ziglar, you know, these are a couple people. How about going out and read one by Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People? Robert Kiyosaki, you know, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, okay? Things like this. You know, the more you do to make yourself better, you know, the more you're going to be worth in life. And maybe it's not money that you're go-getting, power. And these books don't sit there and tell you. They just tell you how to be a better person. They tell you what to do in order to live a happier life. You can sit back and watch TV all day long and not be happy at all. And watch the news and let the news tell you everything that you don't want to know. Or you can turn the news off and go make a difference. Go read a couple books that will tell you, look, quit following the norm. See, everybody nowadays wants to be like the kid in high school. I want to be like the popular kid. I'm going to go do this because that's what they're doing. Well, great. You know what else they're doing? They're also giving up their rights and their freedoms. They're giving up their idea on what life is all about. They don't care because they don't get anything from you. It's kind of like your bosses. Why do they care what you think when they're at the top of the food chain? You know, what are they going to do to make your life better when their job is to make sure their life comes first? When you go work for somebody, doesn't matter who it is, they come first. When you work for the state comes first. When you go to work, you know, everything comes first but you. If you want you to come first, then go do something that lets you come first. Go read and figure out different ideas and different things. Wow, that had a lot of water in it. Okay? Now, why do I go like this? Because I like to have these daily fireside chats with you. I like to make sure you understand that you have to do things over and over and over again. You got to be a repetition. You know, you got to be consistent. You got to have loyalty. If you like, okay, I like to give examples of my business. If you come into my business and you expect everybody to do everything for you, and if they don't, you drop out, then you're a statistic, okay? Now, if you come into the business and say, you know, okay, what can I do? What do I got to do first? And you start learning, and then as you're learning, you think, you know, we might be able to do this. I wonder if anybody's done this before. And you start asking questions, and you start becoming successful because you're starting to think on your own. And you're starting to use the knowledge that those came before you, but you're applying your own personality to it. You'll find out that success comes at a way. I love when people always tell me, oh, well, that's one, you know, and they think right away, oh, I know it's not, you know, I'm not going to make that much money up front. And I always tell them, don't expect it. You know what's funny is that they don't become a millionaire the next month they're gone. Like, they literally on the witness protection program. That's what we always call it within what I do. You know, and it's funny, the reason why we call it that is we are illegal. So if all of a sudden everybody disappears, yet there's a lot of money to be made because a lot of people need what we offer. And I'm not trying to get into that right now. But they disappear. But it's starting to turn that way for jobs and everything. You know, right now in the United States, there's a lot of jobs. And right now, there's a lot of money to be made. One of my buddies, I was talking to him, and I talk to him every once in a while, and he needs good welders. And they pay about $75 for a welding job. And even to this day, They can't get people to stay on, even though it's full benefits, $75 starting out, plus full benefits, yet they can't find anybody because everybody went to college. Everybody thinks they got to have it, yet everybody getting out of college, they don't want to work in a welding job because that's beneath them, yet they don't got a penny to their name. They're in debt like you wouldn't believe, and they look down. It's kind of funny. People look down on me. Now, what they don't know is I do have my college, but my profession, I don't need college. The people that do the work for us, they need their college. And there's no way in heck I'm going to go back and get the bar exam because, quite frankly, college burned me out. And luckily for me, I was a Marine and I had the Illinois Veterans Grant, GI Bill, my books paid for by some great things. But I never once applied what I learned in college to what I do now. Instead, I started reading books that mattered to me. I started reading books that would make me, stand out above the crowd. I started reading books on leadership because in the Marine Corps they tell us leading. They also tell you, don't follow what everybody else does. You have to adapt and overcome to your surroundings. My surroundings, my adaptation overcoming was, I didn't want to go work for somebody. I've had several of my own brick and mortar businesses. That's great. Rumor, gossip. Yeah, those people are still in that area. They still talk the trash. They still lie because they don't want to get out of the world they're in to be better. Okay? But that doesn't make them bad people. Hold on. Still getting corn. Sorry. Just trying to get all this corn all peeled here. The whole idea is, I have gone to vocational schools before. I have gone and trained. I have training for my company and my business. And I even take classes and books outside of what I do so that I can learn and do better than what my mentors did. See, it's not that I want to be my mentors. I want to be better than my mentors. I want to take what they've taught me, just like a parent would teach you, and I want to do more with what I learned. I don't want to just stop and do everything they did. I want to do what they did and add my own spin and do even better. So while you're doing it, everybody's like, well, what's the secret? There's not a secret. Hard work is a secret. Using your brain is a secret, okay? That's how we maintain and that's how we keep going. We basically use our brains to get better, okay? Now somebody asked me, well, yes, I do follow stuff in my company because it works, okay? I would never follow anything that does not work. There's a book called GoPro. It has nothing to do with my company. I read it one day. And it's funny because before that I ever read that book, I was in a couple companies first. Holy cow, I don't even know what's wrong with this one. You see how small that stuff is in there? Oh, that one's not even, that's still a baby. It's not even done. Anyway, so the book called GoPro, I was sitting there reading it. It's not the little camera you're thinking. I'm sitting there reading the GoPro book, and basically the guy said, look, you go to your conventions, you read the books, you do what they say, you start making the money in the business, blah, 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 blah. It's for all businesses. This is not my business. I'm telling you that right now. GoPro is not part of us. And you believe, and you basically have a belief system in it. Meaning you love what you do, and if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. However, you must keep coming back so that you keep that belief system up to events, you got to keep your knowledge up, you got to keep reading. Everybody's like, well, I got kids and stuff. Great. I bet you I can look at your life and I can see where all your downtime is when you have time to read. I can do that with anybody. My buddy Chris Hughes, they put on there, hey, tell me what you've done, what you do in your off time, and I'll tell you what your future looks like. So I put down what I did, and he just kind of laughed. He's like, yeah, I know what you do, Jeff, and I know what your future looks like. You're never going to stop. You're right, because I love what I do. I don't have to retire because I love what I do. And since I'm not doing manual labor except in my garden, I love what I do. There was a guy by the name of Russ Gale. He used to be a lawyer in my hometown. Really nice guy. Family lawyer, okay? He worked every day pretty much until the day he died. I don't really remember him retiring. I do know he was a family lawyer and he's a really nice guy, but he did every day what he loved. And I can take examples from my hometown, okay? The Frank Muschels, the Dave Nissens, the Don Curlins, the Kyle Moores. They're doing what they love to do, okay? And I look at them, and these are people, and by the way, that's Democrat, Republican, middle, left, right, whatever. The Danny Griffiths of the world. I watch people, and I watch them never give up. They never give in. They're good people, okay? And yeah, yes, there's people out there that talk bad about them. Let's face it, it's just part of natural life, right? But they've tried. They've explored. They've done different things. It didn't matter what anybody thought about them, like politics. It doesn't matter what anybody thought about them. They went out there, and they did the best they could with what they got. And then they kept going. Okay, now they're doing really well. I'm very proud of each one of them. They're all in different political formats. That's great. Look at the Rob Ebbings of the world. You know, great over at the Quincy Convention Center. Does a great job. Okay, beautiful wife Vicky, beautiful daughters, you know, stuff like that are married and they got their great parents and everything else. And they're good people. Okay, but then I watch other people that they try to live off the sunshine of somebody else. Now, what does that mean, living off the sunshine? That means they want what everybody else has, but when they get it, they can't maintain it. Why? Because they never learned how to do it. Simple as that. If you don't learn to read, when you open up a book, it means nothing. If you don't learn how to ride a bike, when you get on, you can't ride it. I'm sorry, it doesn't come second nature. Okay? After you learn to ride it, you know, you'll be able to ride it even more. But it's really funny because I'm watching people do that all the time. They want what others have, and they like to say they have it. But when they go out and get it, look, I'm not Brian Carruthers. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not Rich Ellerman. Okay? I'm not Alan Romans. I'm not Chris Hughes. I love these people to death, but I'm not them. I'm not the Frank Muscholtz of the world. I am not the Mike Goalies or the Jenny Goalies of the world who are successful. I am not the Jack Sharkies of the world. These are all great people, and people kind of look at them like, oh, like, no, you want to know something? It's funny. It's like my Uncle Dave. I got an Uncle Dave, and, you know, simple guy. Love him to death. It's always been there for me, no matter what. And he owns, well, I'm not going to say what he owns, but needless to say, if he wanted to, he'd go out and buy a freaking really expensive car if he wanted to. He's got the money to do it. He doesn't, though. He's got a rusted beat down, but the people have no clue that at any time he could, but that's not his passion, okay? That's not what he loves, but his business is very, very successful, and it's all over the place. I've got friends. You would never know what they have, because if you look at what they have, that's not their passion. Everybody's like, oh, well, if someone's rich, that means they got to wear the suits. They got to drive the... No. And in fact, way I've learned through books and learning and everything else, that's not what drives people. People have a dream. They got a dream. They have a drive, a determination, okay? And they're really, really good people. But here's the kicker. Just because you think they should be doing more with what they got, that's not how they got successful. Take Jack Sharkey, for example. Guy owns a trucking company. Probably the nicest guy in the entire world. God-fearing, great family man, great boss. Nothing, just the simplest, nicest guy you could ever imagine. He owns hundreds of brand new trucks. We're talking about, I think his are Peterbilt. And he owns all these trucks, right? Now look at his vehicle, his personal vehicle. It's beat down, rusted, it runs great, but you would find it in a salvage yard. Not kidding, dude. This place has more this Jeep has more Bondo on it. But that's not his passion. His passion is making sure people are working, making sure his trucks are in line. He doesn't drive a big truck either. He doesn't ask for much. But he's probably the kindest, nicest person. I hear people all the time, you know, talk about like McNay Trucking, you know, another guy, great guy. He's always given the volunteer groups, okay, and he doesn't ask much from anybody. The Goalie family, you know, I don't like when people down on people, but everybody I know, they're great people. They don't talk bad about anybody. The Napides of the world. Now, why am I mentioning all these people? They're from my hometown, and they take care of their community. But you would never know who they were outside once you know who they were, because their mission in life is not being a millionaire. Their mission in life is being God-fearing. Their mission in life is loving life. You know, they read books. I watch, you know, you have to watch successful people. They do. They don't watch the news. They do not sit there and go to the bars and drink nonstop. They basically are successful because they spend time with their family. They're family oriented, or they know what's important in life. They sit there and they eat healthy, or they try anyway, and they're always doing something to be better than who they are yesterday. Okay, they don't sit still. That's another thing. That's another good trait to have. Don't sit still. Don't sit there and think, oh my God, life, you know, if things aren't going your way, one of the things about the wealthiest, or one of the things about the most successful I learned is they don't sit back and sit there and pout. They don't sit back there and think everything is everybody else's fault. They think if it's got to be done, I better do it, or I got to learn to do it, or I got to change what I'm doing in order to do what I want. And when they do that, that's what you need to learn. It has nothing to do with they were born in the money. Has nothing to do that success comes natural to them. Yes, a lot of people talk about one of my mentors, Brian Carruthers. But you know, one of the things that Brian did, he went out and he lived amongst the homeless over in San Francisco. And everybody's like, why should we read a book? Because he learned everything from people that came from nothing. He studied them. So when he studied them, he learned what their traits are, learned what their habits are. He read all the books. So when you read the book Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers, and when I tell people that, it's not him you're reading about. It's all the other things that he learned and he put together so that you could basically fast track to becoming successful, okay? Think about it. A person that invented knives at one time, well, you can go look up that story. Right now, I'm done with my corn, and I think I'm going to wash it off and go give it to all my neighbors. I want each and every one of you to know this, though. When you know and you look in the mirror and tell yourself every day you matter, even if you don't believe it, eventually you will. When you look at yourself and say, it doesn't matter if it's 1 year, 20 years down the road, if you look in the mirror every day and say, I'm going to do this, I've got to do this, I got to quit drinking, I got to quit smoking, I got to quit doing drugs, I got to get better, I got to get better, and you keep looking in the mirror and telling yourself that, and you hold yourself accountable, okay? When you hold yourself accountable for the things that you do, then you will find success. I owned a nightclub at one time. I do not deny this at all. And everybody's like, whoa, that failed. No. Believe it or not, my only goal was to open the doors. That was my goal. I was successful. Now, did it fail? No. Money came in. We just had some issues, and then my daughter was born. And I did not want to do any disrespect to my family, and I wanted to be there for my daughter. And the road I was heading down was not a good road. And so I chose to take a different path. And then later on I met up with Rich Ellerman, who saw my passion and saw what I wanted to do, and he saw my drive. And so he took me on because he saw something in me, and then it helped him grow, but he helped me grow first. And now I help people grow, whether it's on here, spiritually, whether it's through religion, whether it's through business, whether it's still just supporting them in what they do. And that sometimes can be the difference between success and failure, is how we support those around us that we love and care about. Anyway, I got this corn done early. My name is Jeffrey Jansen. Know this, each and every one of you matters every day. How you go about your life is your own business. But if you want to be successful, don't want to be that #1 basketball player, #1 football player. Want to be better than them. Because here's just it. A true teacher, a true mentor that has made it, has broken every record, deep down they want to teach you so that you break their record. Because to them, by teaching you that, they did it themselves. If I can one day go up and say, I made a difference in one person's life, I can get on stage and say, I made a difference in somebody's life, my life will be complete. The thing about it is, when you're not looking for whose life you're being successful and you're just basically doing everything you can because that's what it is, then that's what matters. I don't care about money. I don't care about power or prestige. I care about making a difference in people's lives and letting them learn with what I've learned, and then them going out and doing even better and more. However, I want to break goals. I want to break records. But then I want somebody to break my record by what I taught them. And that can be the difference in success and failure. If you don't even get off the sidelines, if you put all your money in a savings account, wait for a rainy day, that rainy day may never come. If you sit there and say, oh, well, that's a pyramid, or oh, my friends backed out. Yeah, okay, so do everything your friends do. Quit. Okay, you didn't like the job at the hospital, so you quit. Now where do you work? You didn't like the job there, so you quit. Or you did everything to get you fired. Why? Because your friends did it. Instead, why don't you make the difference and become better than the person that you're following right now? They're always going to be your friend. And if they're down in you, you need new friends. Just being plain and simple with you. If you're around people that put you down, knock you down, kick you down, want to go out every night of the week and drink instead of being home with their kids and everything else, they want to sit there and belittle you because of your dreams, because of what you want to do, and that you inspire to do more, and you're like, hey, I want to do this, I think we're great, and they're like, oh, you know what, you'll end up failing at it. Or, oh, you know, why not instead you go to college, because, you know, that's the way to go, you know. You know, the only way to get ahead is college. Or they tell you, you know, why plant a garden? You know, it's just going to die. Okay, you're just going to eat it away. What? You know, oh, the big farmers are going to take care, you know. Why don't you just get in line, follow what everybody else does. Be minute. Be meager. Be less than everybody else. Why? I want my daughter to strive to be something more. I want the people around me to strive to be something more. And if I want them to be more, I sure as heck better be striving to be more. I don't want to be mediocre. I don't want to be less than who I am. I don't want to sit there and stop reading books because somebody said, oh, books are boring. You know, let's get rid of them. And by the way, the same people that'll tell you the books are boring, they're the same people that are trying to give you political advice. Yeah, okay. That's not going to happen. The same people that tell you, oh, you need to watch the news, are the same people that are looking at it like they believe everything. They're also the same ones that watch soap operas every single day because, oh, that's what we got to do. We got to watch soap operas. My mom, while she was alive, was probably my first role model. She was a business person. She used to bake and cook and then sell it. She also did crafts. And then she'd go to St. John's and a bunch of bazaars and stuff, and she would sell her crafts that she did. And then she'd take that money, we'd go on vacations. And my dad, you know, worked nonstop and did a great job. So I had two heroes growing up that showed me that TV was not important. Doing things with your friends, going out there and just giving people what you have, offer what you're good at. You know, always strive to do better. Give God the praise. You know, make sure you love your family. You know, hugs are more important than money will ever be. That's what's important. Your kids are important. Playing games with them. I played Payday, which is a month game. You know, you play it. So for like 2 or 3 hours, no, I think it was 2 hours, me and my daughter played a year's worth of Payday. And man, it got boring for a while. But man, she loved it. Me and my daughter go horseback riding. Me and my daughter, we go walking. She wants me to get a bike so we can start bike riding again together. We did it once and I broke the bike. Don't ask. We went down to the river. I take my daughter fishing. I take my daughter on trips. I take my daughter on road trips. I may be taking her on a drive out to Denver, Colorado, then fly back. But the whole idea is do stuff with your kids. Make them important. Make them what matters. Learn your friends' heritage. If you got friends around you that are Vietnamese, that are Korean, that are Japanese, Chinese, that are German, learn them. You know, say, hey, tell me a little bit about your heritage. They're going to be like, I don't know my heritage. Why not? Respect those around you. Respect your elders. Say please and thank you. And know this. Every day you're great. Every day you matter. And every day you make a difference in somebody's life. I'm blessed to have each and every one of you. You guys have a great day. I will talk with you all later. And I got to get this corn inside. The flies are starting to come around here.